Morning, guys. It's about 7:30 California time, Sunday morning. I am driving down Highway 18, which is what we call the backside of the mountain. It's the highway that leads down out of Big Bear into the high desert area. It's a very gnarly road. It goes from about 7,000 feet in elevation, where the town of Big Bear Lake sits, through a series of these sharp hairpins you'll see here in the next few minutes. I'm gonna go around to about 4,000 feet in like less than 20 miles. So I am Utah bound this morning. I'm gonna go up for about 5 days. Interestingly enough, all three highways in and out of Big Bear right now are technically closed. This one is open to local resident traffic only right now. We'll see what happens when I get down. There's a cement plant right at the base when you get into the high desert. It's called Lucerne Valley. That's usually where they have their checkpoints. So I'm gonna see if there's a CHP set up there. There's a hay truck coming up. He supplies hay for most of the people I know who have horses in Big Bear, ironically, including my best friend's parents when I stay for them. Truck's making a little bit of belt whine right now. I replaced the idler pulley and the tensioner and the serpentine belt in the last couple weeks because it's not been real happy and it's still making a little bit of noise. But see what happens. Other than that, truck's running really good. I had my tires rotated yesterday. I gotta get up to an America's Tire or something tomorrow morning. I had my tires rotated real quick yesterday morning with my friends that own the Jeep shop, and he found a screw in one of the tires, but he didn't have a full patch kit for it, so he decided it was better to just leave it in until I could get a full patch instead of a plug. But it's not leaking. I haven't had any issues. The only orange light on my dash is just my traction control light. I disengage it when I drive the mountain roads because I hate the way the braking system kicks in if it thinks I'm going around a corner too fast. So if I just control it myself, it's a much better ride. But see, we're got another hairpin here, and then I'll just keep the video going here in a couple minutes. You'll see there's 3 of these switchbacks that are even sharper than this one, and they're right close back together. It's kind of gnarly, but it's an interesting road to drive. It's a beautiful morning. It's 36 degrees. It's rare to see this much snow, even on the backside of the mountain, like down here in the desert area. And this is all, as you can see, all still kind of covered in snow. Just remnants of this crazy, crazy storm we had in the last 2 weeks. It's good though, it'll fill the lake up. Anyways, this area, I think this is where they call Cactus Flats. There's a couple of really cool off-highway vehicle trails out here. I've been four-wheeling with some friends that have Jeeps out here over the years. Really, really fun area. Lots to do out in nature. And then kind of out in front of me over there right now, that's where Johnson Valley and all of that kind of stuff, like King of the Hammers, that's all out there. That's where that happens. I'll see here in a minute. I'm going to come up to these hairpins at the end of this big straightaway stretch here. Yeah, I can hear that belt whining. I don't know why it's doing that, considering those parts are new. But yeah, see, even these hills are all snow-capped, and it very rarely gets this much snow out here. It's been a long time since I've seen this much snow out on this side of the mountain. Yeah, it's a little bit of the national forest area where I live. The other side of the mountain, which is behind me, has a lot more greenery, like a lot more of the evergreen pine trees and stuff. But this is still a really cool area. I just think it's cool. It looks cool out here. And I've got about 10 hours ahead of me. Thankfully, it's a pretty easy drive from Big Bear. I drive out through the high desert, hop on the 247 and drive to Barstow, and then literally just get on the 15 and drive till I hit where I'm going. It's a pretty easy drive. So that's cool. It's interesting to see what other traffic is on the highway this early in the morning. It's nice though that they're only allowing residents because I don't have traffic to deal with and people that don't know how to drive the mountain roads. Oops, I'm a little fast for this corner. I'm gonna slow down a little bit here. So I've only been recording for about 5.5 minutes, and I started recording just past the very top of the highway. And in probably the next 10 to 15, I'll be down out of the windy mountain roads. You'll see it's kind of crazy how short and steep this highway is. As of right now, it's the only one open, and a couple of days ago, we had major issues getting fuel tankers and grocery store trucks up here, because normally they come up the other two highways that are on the other side of the mountain because they're much easier drives. They're a lot longer, but nowhere near as sharp of corners and steep of grades. But they've all been having to come up this road, which I can't imagine having to drive a big, huge truck and trailer around these next 3 corners, which you'll see here in just a minute I'm about to pull up on. I have watched my best friend's parents back when he had his big 45-foot living quarters horse trailer and then his 4500 Chevy crew cab. He's 60 feet long with that truck and trailer, and I've seen him on this road having to swing around the corners, and it's crazy. So I can't imagine doing it with a big rig. I'm glad I only have to do it in my Yukon. And I have towed my mom's boat on this highway. I did it last summer driving down to Lake Mojave, which is out in Laughlin and Bullhead. Ooh, there's a big rock in the road. Doesn't surprise me with how much snow we've had. Yeah, so here's switchback number 1. Going downhill, this is where you really got to be careful, make sure there's not trucks coming, because this is where they have to swing into the opposite lane to clear the corner. Man, that belt line's really bad right now and it's bugging me. Yeah, so if you can see kind of down there, that's where the road's going. All right, we have switchback number 2 right now. This one's really sharp. Oh my God, that belt line's driving me nuts. It usually only does it if I have to drive the truck right when it's started and not up to operating temp, but he's up. That engine temp is all the way where it should be, so I don't know why it's doing it now. And it was fine before I got to the 18, which is weird. All right, so switchback number 3, and this is the other one where you gotta be careful going around the corner, because if there's a truck coming the opposite way, they have to swing into this lane. But other than that, that's my drive. I got another probably 3 miles, if that, maybe 2 miles, and then we're out of windy roads. You'll see here when I pop out by the cement plant. See if putting it up into 3rd gear helps that belt line. Yeah, not really. It's weird. Seems to only happen around 12 or 13 or maybe 1500 RPMs. Yeah. So yeah, you can see these kind of steep faces that they cut the roads out of. But it's a pretty cool little area. We do get, it's funny, I'm just now seeing that sign. We do get bighorn sheep up here. Every once in a while we'll see them out. Lots of wildlife up here. Mainly coyotes, we get some deer, but mainly that kind of wildlife tends to stay on the other side where there's more forest area. But sounds like almost like a pulley spinning when it shouldn't be. That's what's concerning me. I did double check all of that in the last 2 days before I packed up the truck to get ready to leave this morning. Put a little bit of oil in. I have a fresh gallon of coolant in the back. I do need to stop and get a quart of transmission fluid because I thought I had some, and I think I used it up a couple weeks ago before my last big road trip to Mammoth. But I'm gonna stop in Barstow. When I stop to top off my fuel tank, I'll grab transmission fluid. I checked it yesterday and it didn't have any issues, but I like to just keep it on hand on a long drive. So right around this next couple set of corners, you'll see I'm gonna pop out into the high desert here, into Lucerne Valley. Yeah, I'm amazed there's even snow down here. We're at like 4,000 feet right now. And interestingly enough, we had snow down to like 1,500 feet in elevation, which was where on the opposite side of the mountain, like going towards the ocean, San Bernardino, Riverside, which is where I originally grew up before I moved to the mountains, they all had snow. Not a lot of snow, but they had snow flurries for a couple days in a row. It was pretty crazy watching all the videos. So this is the cement plant. It's interestingly enough called the Mitsubishi Corporation. They do a lot of work with contractors and stuff in Big Bear, and oh yeah, see, there's the checkpoint. All right, so I gotta stop over here, and then you'll see now I'm out of the mountains. I gotta stop here real quick though and ask them about what they're gonna accept for me to come home.